Hello everyone, welcome to Tuesday Night Lights. It's Chrissy here from the Creative Eclectic. Hope you're having a fabulous Tuesday. And welcome to Tuesday Night Lights. I have got so much to show you tonight, but I got this little brown box and I thought I've cut it open, but I haven't actually opened it, so I thought it might be fun to open it on the live. Hi Glenda, thanks for watching. I hope everyone's having a really fabulous day. I have had a really interesting day, and I managed to use a voucher I got for my 50th, so it's taken me nearly 2 years to use it. But hi Jody. I'm so glad Glenda and Jody are on, and I wondered if you could guess what stamp set we might be using tonight. There might be some hints on my desk, but just anyway, any guesses, anyone? Because next week is Easter. Yes, we are using the Easter bunny, and I found these fabulous little carrot lights at Kmart. And they were like something like $2 or something, and I thought they're going to be great because I decorate with I decorate these tiered trays throughout the year, and so I figured they would be nice. And these two little bunnies, one of them is going to be used by on something that I hope is in this box. Thank you, Jody. I thought I would. They're actually blue. I was hoping for more pool party, but they're more a balmy blue ombre. So I've managed not to wreck them this week. Let's just move my box up a little bit. So let's get started with our little brown box. It's not a very big box, but it's big enough to be exciting. So the first thing that's in our box is the Wreath of Blooms kit. So this is an all-inclusive kit, and it's a really great price point. And when I saw this, I thought our little Easter bunnies will fit quite nicely in this little wreath. So that's what one of my little bunnies is going to do. So this is, I think it's $23 plus postage. So it's a really, everything's cut, it's got adhesive, everything. You just have to put it together. And I'm going to do one. I'm so glad they arrived because I'm doing one of these for my mum for Easter. And I got a second one because I am doing one plain one and one Easter bunny one. So they're really good. I had planned to do that next week, but my husband reminded me that next Tuesday is our 19th wedding anniversary and we have a dinner booked, so I can't do my Facebook Live. And my dear friend gave me a voucher for Christmas to use at some restaurants, and so we're using that to pay for our dinner. So these, I've got some white and some vanilla envelopes. Now in the new catalogue, more than likely these will go up in price. So if you need envelopes and you like the really good quality Stampin' Up ones, get them before the new catalogue comes out. Alright, what else is in here? Oh, we've got the usual suspects of dimensionals and rhinestones. So I have no clue what's in this box. I've been ordering for other people and I forgot what I ordered. So, oh, another pack of rhinestones and another pack of envelopes. We might use those rhinestones tonight. So, these two stamp sets are from the new online exclusives. So we've got a little rhino. Look at him, isn't he so cute? So these are separate from the catalogue. So these are, I think they'll be available till June or thereabouts. And they have an accompanying little die set. So, and the die set has got, I'm not going to open it now, it's got a fabulous tree. So, be sure to check that out online. Right. And the other one is a tropical leaf bundle, and it's got a really great punch. And I bought this one because my niece Susie, as everybody knows, because I always tell everyone she's a florist, and I wanted to make her some pretty little cards that she could have at her market, and or if she wanted to say thank you to someone. So they might not be flowery, but they're just quick and simple note cards for her. And then also, this is an online exclusive ribbon, and it's a really cute gold and silver ribbon, and this is one of the online exclusives as well. So that's so cool. It's sort of see if I can pull it out of the box. Sort of. It's sort of metallic-y. It feels like it's made from a metallic thread. I'm not going to pull it all apart. But, so that's my teeny little order. I'm waiting to the new catalogue. I answered your question. Oh, yes, I did, Glenda. I did get that. So let's talk about tonight's card. I seem to be a long way up on the desk. Let's see, is that better? All right, so as I said, we're using a little Easter Bunny stamp set. Now, I've shared on Facebook the last couple of days the cards we made at our class, and you'll probably notice if you've looked at them, we only made one Easter card. So tonight I actually want to use this little bunny here. Am I fully zoomed in? Let me zoom in a little bit more, if that makes it easier. I don't know if I can. It just turned about on me. I don't know what it's doing. It's doing weird things. No, it won't let me zoom in anymore, Jodie. So, let's see if I can make, without making me sick, I'm going to try and adjust the height. That's okay. Yeah, Steve tightened the Archon stand, so I can't even adjust the height. So sorry about that. Yeah, so that'll be something I look at for our mystery stamping on Saturday. I'll be posting the clues tomorrow or Thursday Friday, probably Thursday. And while I'm here, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Kim, who's not very well and had some surgery today. When you watch this on replay, Kim, we are thinking of you, okay? And my other friend Jenny, who will watch it on replay, who also had recent surgery, and we're thinking of you too. Get better soon, guys. All right, so I'm making 2 cards with the Easter Bunny set. The first one, I'm going to use this bunny, and I have got some leftover scraps from my class, and I've also got a scrap of pool party. So I've got some for this particular card where I've just got a piece of white. Oh, I can't find it. I did have an oval, a circle, but forget it. I don't know what happened to that. I have got a piece of, what is that colour? Soft sea foam, and a soft sea foam chop. And I've also got some embossing folders from the online extras, because I thought that would be pretty fun to. Now I ordered these in pre-order, so I haven't even opened them. So these are not in any of the catalogues. You just look them up online, and then you can. I haven't even opened them. So one of them looks like, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can put a bit more light on the subject here. I hope that's not going to flicker. So this is like a sort of like a star. This one's like a cross-hatched design, and this one's sort of blobby, dotty things. So I thought we might go with the starry. It's almost little, I think they're sort of like poinsettias, almost stars. Anyway, so I want to show you, if you don't have an embossing machine, or if you're traveling or something and you don't, it could be a starfish, and you don't have an embossing machine with you, but you have your embossing folders, I want to show you how you can still use them without the machine. All right, so tonight there's a few little tricks and tips. So this first card will have this tip, and then the other card we're going to do a reflection technique. So first up, I'm going to grab my soft sea foam ink pad, and I hope that it was closed up. So on the side that I'm going to do it on the side that's got the line, and it might not work with that on that side. It just depends on the. I'm going to, I know, don't freak out, put heaps of ink on it. Heaps and heaps of ink. And a bit all over. Now you don't need to press too hard, just make sure that you're generous though with the ink. All right. Now, some of you may have the old Stampin' Up rubber brayer, or you might have a, this is a version of the Stampin' Up one we used to have. Or you might have some other sort of brayer or something heavy. So what I'm going to do is very gently lay my cardstock down. Okay, close up. Oops, hope this still works. Try not to move it. Close up and use your brayer. And if you don't have a brayer, put something heavy on it. So grab your, say this folder doesn't fit in you don't have your big embossing machine, but you've got your mini embossing machine, just grab it and press it down. Okay? Alright. Or put a heavy book on it or something. Now, you'll see that it gets a bit of a pattern. So depending on how much of a pattern, it's probably wasn't the right embossing folder, but all it does is it just adds some colour to the background. A rolling pin would work really well, Glenda. Definitely would work well. Now, I've used these embossing folders. It's going to sound really strange. I've used brand new embossing folders and I've rolled out fondant and put fondant inside them and used a rolling pin over the top to decorate my fondant for my cookies, but I only do it with brand new ones. So yeah, but a rolling pin would work. So you probably can't see, it just has a really faint pattern, but it's not plain anymore. So then what I would do with that particular one is I'm just gonna grab my ink pad and just rub it on, because I'm sort of going for a shabby look. Now, depending on your embossing folder, depends on how well and how much pressure you put on it, depends on how well it works. I don't have a lot of strength in my hands, so I'm probably the worst person to show you this technique, but I do like the technique because it just adds a bit of interest for when you don't have you don't have your embossing machine and you don't have any pattern paper in the right colour. This just adds a bit extra. Okay, so we've done that. Then I've got this oval which I cut from, I think it was the Flowering Florets thing, and I brought upstairs with me this little set of dies called the Basic Border dies. Now I'm using my new mini machine, nice blue one, because this die fits in here beautifully. I'm sorry about the noise. If Joffy were up here tonight, she would be freaking right out because she doesn't like loud noises. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little Easter egg out of my oval using this little stitched edging. All right. Now you've got to make sure that your edges are staggered for it to go through. I haven't staggered them right. Got my die up a bit too far. And you don't have to make it straight. So this is just a little Easter egg for my bunny to sit in. All right. So when you pull off your die, you've got this lovely little stitched edge, and it doesn't matter if it's straight or not. Now, it doesn't look much like an Easter egg yet, but stay with me. Trust me, I'm a professional. Can move these things out of the way. Now, I've got some early espresso. I've got some pool party. I've got my Winker Stella. And I've got a couple of blending brushes. I've got an aqua one, and I think I've got a brown one. I'm just going to use... I do have a brown one. There we go. Now I like to put my names on the back of them so that I don't have to clean them. So I'm going to start with the lighter colour, which is my Pool Party. I do have some Coastal Cabana sitting off to the side just in case. I'm going to colour, I'm not going to use both halves of the eggs, but I am going to colour both, like blend them both. So, because I want to give it a lot of dimension. So when you do the sponging or the blending on it, what it does is it gives it some depth. So an outside, when you look at an egg, the outside of the egg looks really, oh hi Lynn, nice to see you. The outside of the egg, when you look at it straight on, it looks darker where the shadows are. And oh, I don't know, Jodie, if you noticed my watch today. Oops, it's flamingo. Got my flamingo watch face on. Anyway, so yeah, the outside of the egg is much darker. Now, I know some chickens have blue eggs, that's why we're doing a blue egg. And I'm putting colour all over it, even though it is already a Pool Party, but I want it to just be a bit deeper than the normal. So we've done our, that one. Just now I'm going to grab my early espresso one and add a little bit of brown, very little bit, and it's sort of patchy brown because eggs are a bit grotty, just sort of a bit random. And I've got a chick stamp set somewhere I'm going to use that other half for. I've got, I didn't show you before, I've got a little block, and I'm going to put a little bit of the, actually, I might just not do that. I might put a bit of the Coastal Cabana ink on that block. Now, because I've already inked that in a light ink, I'm just going to rub it off and then put on my Coastal Cabana. If you're using a light onto a dark in the same tones, don't worry too much about whether or not the ink goes on the block, on the ink pad, the lighter ink goes on the ink pad. I'm going to grab my Winker Stella and pick up that colour, and I'm just going to use the cap and flick it if it's deciding to do the right thing for me. Oh, let's put a bit more, squeeze it a bit more. Oh. Sometimes they don't want to do what you want them to do. Isn't that always the way? No. There we go. I think we're... Now, if you can't get it to work, you can always do a little teeny spray of the alcohol on it. That will work. You want that ink to be a bit runny so that it flicks. And it's still not flicking where I want it to be. And if it doesn't work, you can always grab a water painter and do it with that. Because I know that that does work. I mightn't have the right technique today. Yep, it's just not flicking in the right place. I'm getting it everywhere but... Oh, let's just do some splots. You know what I think you know what I'm trying to achieve here. There we go. It's very, very faint. See? There we go. That's a bit better. We want just some little splotches of splatters of ink. Now, if you have a full wink of Stella, that would have worked perfectly. But my full wink of Stella, I've used a whole one in the last week, so... So we've got some little splatters. They're very, very faint. So I'm just going to wipe that off. And on the other side of the clean side of the block, I'm going to dip it in espresso. Squeeze my pick up a bit of that. Let's just use the lid again. There we go. The espresso is probably a better, it's being much more cooperative. Now you could fill your water painters up with, what do you call it? Rubbing alcohol. Just cleaning that off by squeezing it till it runs clear. You could run it under a tap. Clean that off. I'll wipe that as well. Give it a bit of wipe and give the inside of the thing a bit of a wipe, although I know I need a new one. Wipe off your block so you don't accidentally put it away when it hasn't been cleaned. And so we've done that part of it. We'll keep that brown out because we're going to use that for our little bunny. I want to just cut my bunny. Did that make sense what I was doing? Yes, that isopro alcohol is what I used. Or you could use isocol, use whatever you have, okay? I'm going to cut this. So it is, it's 3 3/4, so I might just cut it to about 3 1/4. We'll give I'll cut it to 3, see how that goes. It might not be big enough. I'm going to use both of these pieces though. The first one, let's see, which is a better piece for our card. I think that one's a better piece for our card. So So I actually have changed midstream and changed what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp my bunny directly onto this card, and I'm not going to colour it in. It's going to be a little brown bunny, and the reason it's going to be a little brown bunny is because my daughter, when she was little, had a book called Guess How Much I Love You, and we used to read it all the time, and she had it in both French and English because her grandmother thought it was funny, since her name is Paris, to give it to her in French. And in this book, it has they're rabbits, but they call them nut brown hares, and so the big nut brown hare and the little nut brown hare. And so we used to read that every day from when she was born until she went to school. It was just one of those things that we read all the time, and it's such a delightful tale. And I might even use the smaller half of my Easter egg actually, rather than the big half. So you just play with it and you work out what you're going to do. So I am definitely winging it tonight. I've had this in my head for a week. So what I thought of last week when I was going to do it, and I was just so stressed out about my dad having surgery, and I just couldn't function. So what I had in my head for last week and this week are two completely separate, different things. So that's my little nut brown hair, and we're going to pop our little Easter egg over the top of him. And I'm not going to worry about his feet showing because I have these carrots, and they're from the same set, and I have done a bunch of them and cut them out. I've still got a bunch more to colour, and I just keep them in a little plastic cello bag in the front of I normally have it taped in, but not today for some reason. So we have got a bit of bling, a bit of, yes, we will have bling, but we've got a bit of our, what is this stuff? Dimensionals, and we're going to pop them on and raise up our little bunny. Then you can colour your bunny if you want. I was going to colour him brown, but I've changed my mind because I really want to show you the other technique, much more than this one. So I've got my little bunny. I'm just going to stick our little carrots on and just use a little bit of glue. So the carrots are sort of like our embellishments. And see, you'll see the back of these carrots have got, let's get a glue that functions. The back of the glue, the carrots are stamped images. It doesn't matter. I made a mistake, so I turned it over and used the magical other side. And so we're going to cover that little bunny foot with one carrot, and the other bunny foot with another carrot. And because we need 3 elements really, we're going to pop the other carrot I might just leave him on the ground, I think. I'll tuck him behind. No, we'll tuck him on the front. Okay, we'll tuck that one on. So can you see how this is coming together? How that oval is not an oval anymore. It's now a lovely little, what do you call that thing? A lovely little Easter egg or broken egg. Now I've got my Easter bunny set. And I'll just grab out a different block, a smaller block. So when you're using your these photopolymer stamps, try and, I should have had something, a spongy surface under that. I'm always telling people about that, but try and make sure that when you're using those, that you use a small, an appropriate sized block. Don't use a huge block for a teeny stamp. So this block in some ways is too big, but I know that it'll be okay. And I'm just using some soft seafoam ink to put some grass underneath his little Easter egg. You could colour him in. I have no clue where any of my markers are. It's funny how I always seem disorganised, and I spend lots of time trying to organise stuff for Facebook Lives, but I get really nervous. I get incredibly nervous during videos. Completely different to class. So I hope everyone's having a really good week. What have we been up to so far this week? Has it been nice and fun? Look, I had a facial this morning and it was so good. Would have been better if I could have had a massage as well, but I haven't had a facial for so long. Well, at least 2 years. So other than the stuff I do for myself, so it was just so lovely to have that time. Now we're going to need to put a bit of colour around the edge of this, because otherwise it's not going to stand out. So I'm just going to take my aqua blending brush and just do a little bit of blending around the edge. Don't be nervous. Thanks, Glenda. You're such a lovely cheerleader. I don't know. I don't like public speaking at all, and but since I've been a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I seem to do a lot of public speaking. I might need a bit more ink on my brush. Yeah, lots of people have asked me why they would need a little blending brush. Now you'd use your little blending brush when you want to get into, when you only have a small area to blend and you want to get really close to something, you would use it then. I'm not being overly particular today, so I don't think that I need a small brush, but you might want to get right up into next to that rabbit. But we might use the small blending brush with the soft sea foam for the grass down the bottom. And normally I would find a clear spot on my pattern paper, on my grid paper, so I don't have to worry about getting other colours mixed in, but this is sort of a vintage card, so I'm okay if the colours do get mixed. Put a bit up the side there. It's very subtle. So well, you might choose to use a small blending brush to blend your rabbit. That'd be a bit of a task, but it could work. Are we liking our rabbit so far? I'm not going to put a sentiment on this today. I am, because my mum asked me to make an Easter card and I want her to pick what sentiment she uses, and this is for my niece, or my great niece actually, so my niece's daughter, and she likes vintage sort of things, and we have a tradition with Easter that our grandmothers buy pyjamas for the grandkids and for Easter, well, when they're under 18. So it's such a nice tradition, and my grandmother always did it for us, and well, my nana, and yeah, it's something that's sort of, it's carried over for generations. So my sister does it for her grandkids, but they get 2 sets of pyjamas because they get a set from my mum as well. And needs a little bit of bling. So I've got these loose daisy embellishments, and I'm determined to use these up. There's so many in a pack. So just going to grab a dab of glue. I'm going to shove it on this this paper, scrap paper. I would usually use my silicone craft mat, but I'm going to use that for something else tonight. So, God, is it almost 7:45 already? Goodness me, I'm such a slow crafter. Ugh. So let's pop. So I've just picked up the daisies with the take your pick tool with the putty end, dip them in the glue, and pop them on the card. This pack of daisies just seems to be never ending. And there's a couple of different sizes in the daisy pack. And let's do another little yellow one over here. Because we need 5 embellishments, a nice odd number. Let's see if we can find a tiny white one as well. There we go. It's very cute, isn't he? Oh. And I don't think it matters that he's not coloured. I think that he's just cute the way that he is. So that's our first card. And I will put a white insert in it, but I want to show you the second card, the second technique, before we run out of time. Right. So, second technique is a reflection technique. So what we will need for this is a stamparatus. And if you don't have a stamparatus, please get one. Please, please, please get one, because they are so good and they are worth every cent. And I have one here, and just grabbing it. So what you'll also need as well as your stamparatus is, so I'm showing you a reflection technique using a punch. Yeah, you can do this with a die as well. So I've got my stamparatus, I've got my magnets, I've got my, you actually don't even need that sheet. Don't need that sheet today. I've got my silicone craft mat. All right. And be really careful you don't knock those magnets together. And I have got a piece of cardstock and my punch. So I'm going to at one end of my cardstock. Actually, before I do that, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, maybe in the middle of this cardstock, I'm going to punch it out. Now, I haven't stamped it or anything, I've just punched it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my little magnets and my bunny on the negative of my thing, and I'm actually going to flip it over. So this is the way the bunny would normally go, right? Actually, I'm not going to do that. I've forgotten how to do it. No, I haven't. That's the way we're going to do it for now. We're going to pop, I've already stamped one bunny. I'm going to pop it on here. I've got it right. I hadn't forgotten. I just had a brain freeze. I've got my ink and I have got my bunny stamp. Right. Now, I won't finish this card tonight. I will just show you the technique and then I'll show you the finished card after, because I know that people are, that's if we run out of time. So I've got my little bunny and I'm just slotting it in to where that negative is. Right. Now, if you want to, you could, instead of using the magnets, you could just use some washi tape or some masking tape. I'm going to use some masking tape on one side of it because these bunny stamps are very thin and sometimes the magnets are thicker than the stamp. So I'm going to pop my stamp case underneath my bunny and we're going to ink up our little bunny. Get lots and lots of ink and we're going to stamp it once. All right, now if you've got a little sprayer you can do this with it, and then just use your hand. Then I'm going to ink it up some more. Now he might not be perfect, but he's pretty close. Make sure he's within those lines. If you wanted to check he was perfect, you could just pop your bunny back in and just inky stamp it. Let's do that. We're just popping our bunny back in and we're going to stamp it again. Okay, and when you pop the bunny back in, what happens is you've stamped that side, but if you turn it over to the magical other side, you'll have a really faint bunny outline. All right, don't know if you can see that. Let's adjust that a little bit. Let's go. Let's stamp a bit more. Might even just might even grab another piece of cardstock to do another bunny, because the top lines are very, very faint, but you can keep popping it in and inking it up. So what happens is the ink goes onto your silicone craft sheet, right, and then it creates a smooth surface, so it becomes sort of like a stamp, and then you just gotta push it down, be really firm at the top. This is one of my favorite techniques. I use this reflection technique for all sorts of things. You see, he's a bit wonky, so I'm going to do it again, because I shouldn't have taken him off. I should have just pressed him a bit harder. So let's double check. I'm just going to wipe that off. Wipe it with my fingers. I'm not too worried. Just stamp our little bunny. Make sure he's in the right place. I think that's a bit better. Yeah, he's going to be in the right place. So now, because I just adjusted that bottom bit just a tiny bit, has anyone else done this technique before? Oh, thank you, Jodie. I appreciate you saying that I'm good at my lives. Oh, you were busy with your interstate friends yesterday and dropped them to their ship, and then you had your son and his family come this afternoon. That's really lovely. That is so lovely. Now, I'm putting a lot more colour on this time, just because I want to make sure that my bunny is really dark. So I would do this depending on the colour ink, and I'm going to move this magnet because that might make a difference as well. It's still stuck, so I would probably do this between, depending on how dark I want it and how good well-inked my ink pad is, between 5 and 10 times I would stamp that silicone sheet. Okay, if you wanted a really pale one, stamp it 3. You'll need a few times though to make sure that we're going to be really careful and drop our little bunny into that slot. And then we're gonna, now remember this, the reverse side we're not gonna see. Oh. And that's a bit better, that bunny. So now we have bunnies facing each other. How cool is that? And even if that bunny, no, that bunny's not any better, this bunny is right. And if I didn't think that bunny was dark enough, I could just stamp another one, but we're not going to. So let's, have we got time to put together the card? I think we do. You haven't done that before? Oh. So, silicone craft mat, best investment you have. And I would get it before the new catalogue comes out, because you don't know if it's going to go up in price, or we might know fairly soon. Demonstrators will know sometime this week. Yes, you've got plenty of time. All right. So let's do a little background I'm thinking, so I've got some smoky slate, I've got some mint macaron. I would be really sad if Stampin' Up gets rid of mint macaron. It's just beautiful for baby cards, and so I'm gonna make a card for my husband for our anniversary. So I'm just stamping some grass down the bottom. I think that it needs maybe a little, what does it need? I won't put carrots on this one, or maybe I can make this as an Easter card for my husband. That would be all right. I could use my little carrots. I could use some Easter eggs, and they could be hiding in the grass or on top of the grass. That's a good idea. See, told you, changed my mind all the time. No wonder my husband's got grey hair. But he loves it. And we're just some mint mac. Ooh, I didn't stamp those very well. Luckily, I hope you're not seeing the top of my head and all those grey hairs. Oh, luckily, it's a see-through stamp set, and you can stamp right over the top of it if you. And you need to bring it underneath you. An egg hunt. Yes, that's what I thought. And I think that just the subtle mint macaron eggs are nice. Oh, I did it again. I mustn't have the right size block. Let's see if I can get these ones right. I don't think I did. Oh, they're a little wonky. Let's do another egg over here. All right. I think we need a little bird on top of our egg. It's such a sweet little set. I'll grab that little teeny block, and we're going to make it a little. We're going to keep it a green bird, but we'll give it a early espresso outline, I think. Early espresso? No, basic grade. See, I'm winging it just for Jodie tonight. So I had it really sorted in my head, actually. And I have to be honest, I did buy my husband a anniversary card because I saw a really cool one today and went, oh, that says everything that my handmade card could say. Oh dear, that's embarrassing, isn't it? So I got a little, and I think we need a butterfly too in the background. So keeping it a very monotoned card. Do a butterfly over here. And I should use the, can anyone see what I should be doing? What I haven't got down that I need to have down underneath my stamp set. I need to have some sort of craft mat so I get a better image, because it does make a difference of how crisp your image is. So the silicone Papercraft mats. They actually, when you're using those for that reflection technique, they actually do create a cushion, enough of a cushion that you don't need and you can do them with rubber stamps as well. You don't have to do it with photopolymer stamps. I'll have a little, now do we have a little post-it note? Let's see if Steve's got one, a post-it note in the straw. Actually, let's use a bit of masking tape. We've got that here. Just going to mask off my little egg here. I think it'll be this little egg. This little egg here I'm going to mask off. Not even going to worry about making it too precise. I'm going to stamp my little carrot there. All right, and then I will stamp another little carrot down here. I probably should have done them in, oops, done that in green as well. That's all right. And let's see if I can find one more carrot. I think a third little carrot over this side. All right, so we've got our 3 little carrots. So sometimes masking tape is easier than trying to fussy cut if you've got a fairly straight edge. Yes, you were right. Yes. You could probably call me Batgirl, Jodie. I seem to wing it all, bird girl, wing it all the time. No, don't call me bird girl. I don't really like birds. All right. I'm going to grab out my mint macaron ink again and pick up that my water painters. I'm gonna, where to put that little block? Pick up that little block. Just gonna add a bit darker colour. I'm not even squeezing the water painters. If I had a marker up here, a Stamping Right marker, I would be using that. So I don't want to water them down, and they're going to be green carrots. If I had purple up here, they could be purple carrots. I love purple carrots. So nice, roasted. I'm sure carrots are probably green before they're harvested at some point. Surely they are. Everything else seems to be. I have no clue. I'll just make that stuff up. The problem is that I can't make too much stuff up because if my niece watches this, great niece watches this later, and she'll go, "Auntie Chrissy, why did you make that stuff up?" A bit more ink on that. Make it a bit more interesting. Just going to squeeze the water out of that and clean that brush off a bit. And I'm going to grab my blue Coastal Cabana. That sort of is a nice blue. If I had a blueberry, a Bashful Blue, I'd probably use that. Did you know that Bashful Blue is one of the most popular colours in the South Pacific? Most popular Stampin' Up colours in the South Pacific. That's just a bit of trivia for you. I think that's really, really interesting. And another bit of trivia is that, according to a phone call I was on earlier, the least popular colour, Stampin' Up colour in North America is rich raspberry. Who would have thought? Well, I hope it comes back in the refresh. Might put a bit, yeah, refresh. I find that really, refresh really a nerve-wracking time, because I'm really excited about getting new colours, but I also want to keep my favourites, like, because I love Granny Apple Green. That's like one of my most favourite colours, and so for me, if that went away, I would just be distraught. I'm colouring the stripes and the circles in Coastal Cabana, just because it's here. I just thought it would be fun. And you'll see I haven't with the, I haven't squeezed my water painter, aqua painter, whatever you would like to call it. If you're old school Stampin' Up, you probably still say aqua painter. If you weren't around in that time, you'd say water painter. I'm not squeezing it at all, so I'm basically having almost no water come out of it. So we've got the details on our butterfly, a little green on that. All right, so they look a bit more interesting now. Might mix a bit of the Coastal Cabana on the carrots. Oh, the yellow, I'm not going to speculate about the yellow. I can tell you that one of the least favourite yellows in the South Pacific is Mango Melody. And I love that colour. I think it's just glorious. But, yeah, people don't seem to use it. Like, I think they use Crushed Curry, which is a fabulous colour. But I know with the colour refresh there will be a There will definitely be a nice choice of yellows and a nice choice of pinks. I like when they bring back old colours, but I love it when they bring back brand new colours that nobody else has had a chance to play with before. That's lots of fun. So even though the Coastal Cabana is an aqua and not a green, I think it almost looks like another shade of green. So it goes quite well with mint macaron. I'll just make those mint macaron leaves a bit darker. And give that one mint macarons, darker mint macaron circles. So your Easter eggs don't need to be identical either. They can be different, because remember, when Easter eggs come out of the factory, they are not the same ever. There is no two that are identical. They are pretty close, but depending on how the machine wraps them, depends on how well they what they look like when they come out. So, and like depending on the printing and all of that. So let's start popping this together. I think that it will need a little bit of twine, but let's pop this piece on first. So when you're using your seal and your just the normal seal, sort of do a bit of a tick like what we used to do when you finish. A bit of the tick like what we used to do when we had the fast fuse. That seems to keep the adhesive centered. Right. So, some clouds, I think. Anyway, I'm going to use our little bunnies. They're my favourite bunnies. There are two little bunnies. I think that one I've lost some good ones. Right, they're the two better ones. Okay, we're going to pop up those little bunnies. Or we could just do one on the front and one on the inside. Well, we could just do one on the front. Let's do one. So I put the bird in the wrong place. So maybe I can cover the bird. Let's cover the bird. I spent all that time doing the bird and the butterfly, and I've put them in the wrong place. Alright, there we go. How many of the refresh colours do they normally bring back? Well, so the refresh, it really depends on the popularity of the colour. So, in the past, when they do a refresh, when they've done a major refresh, we've lost 20 current colours, but when they've brought them back, it could be between 5 and 10 returning colours. So yeah, it really depends, and it depends on the colour. Like they've Stampin' Up have had some fabulous colours, and it really depends also on where the gaps are in the Stampin' Up colour wheels. So they might decide, so they do a whole lot of work around colour trends, and I explained this in my newsletter to people last week, last Friday. They do a whole lot of work around colour trends and around what's happened, like the Pantone colour of the year, what's happening in home decor, what's happening in art, so what colours are, and fashion, what colours are, like they look at what colours were popular at Fashion Week. They look at so much stuff, and it's I sort of feel a bit weird floating up in the air like that. Let's put a sentiment, and they can have their feet on the sentiment. They really play around with and do a lot of research with what colours are going to be popular, and they have, because they have to project. And so the Pantone Colour Institute, which it looks at what designers are using and all of that, those sort of people, like whether they be fashion designers or whether they be designers of fabric or lounge suites. So a couple of years ago, the colour was emerald. That was the colour of the year. And in previous years, prior to that being announced, that was Stampin' Up had an emerald envy colour, and it was amazing. It was one of my favourite colours, and I'm really hoping Stampin' Up brings that back, because it was really rich, and I like all that art deco stuff. And but it's not as popular. But like, so a colour, really popular colour that Pantone chose was a mustard colour, and that's not a colour that we would use in crafting so much. Like Stampin' Up used to have more mustard, and they got rid of it because it just wasn't a popular colour. So they look at what's popular, what's trending, and also where the gaps are. So they have a big colour wheel, and they put all of the Stampin' Up colours, old and new, on it, and start looking for where there's gaps and how they might fill those gaps. Now let's see if this, now the happy anniversary stamp is from a stamp set called Celebrating You, and it's a really great stamp set, and that's not very straight. Let's turn it over and see if I can get that a bit straighter. I'm stamping it in basic grey. Grab my trimmer, wherever that might be. I don't even know where that is. It's over there. It's in my photo box. Of course it's in my photo box. Why would it be anywhere else? So yeah, so it's really hard to say, Glenda, but Sarah is doing, the CEO of Stampin' Up is doing an announcement on Demonstrator Planning Place this week. She's doing a Facebook Live, and you will get, as a demonstrator, a sneak peek, which is always exciting. I do have to say the leaders had a little bit of a sneak peek this morning, but we weren't given any colour names. We got a sneak peek of 2 sweets, and I can tell you I love one of them. Oh, and it's one that I wouldn't pick for myself. It is such an unlikely thing, but it's a bit like me doing lots of cutesy, using lots of cutesy stamps. It's used to be such an unlikely thing, and now it seems to be what I do most. All right, So let's have a look here. We've got a happy anniversary. I think it needs a bit of mint macaron around the edges. I'm just gonna dab it in. I'm not going to ink it. I'm not going to sponge it, just dab it in. So this was one of the first things that I learned when I started stamping, was to colour the edge of your cardstock by rubbing it on the ink pad. And I don't see many demos doing that these days. It must have been such an it must be considered such an old-fashioned thing, or maybe they just don't teach it anymore. So I think that that would look quite cute there. Now this bunny's a little bit blurry, but he's still pretty good. We definitely need a bit of twine on this. So just remember, a reminder, there will be no Facebook Live next Tuesday night, because I'm apparently going out for dinner with my husband for our anniversary. 19 years, goodness. And he still hasn't traded me in. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. He's a bit of a keeper. He's finished his paving, so and we've started looking at pots and stuff for outside, so I'm pretty excited about that. Let's just put a little bit of bling there and a little bit of bling there. So I really did wing this. And I know that it's not perfect, but what I always tell people, nothing in life is perfect. Now I'm going to grab my 10-second bow maker, my favourite non-Stampin' Up tool. I'm going to wrap my twine around it 3 times, and then I'm going to tie a little bow. So this will be for my little girl bunny. I'm probably giving you an extra long class Facebook Live tonight, because I know I'm not going to be here next week, and I missed last week. And a couple of people asked how my dad... Oh, your 54th wedding anniversary. Wow. Well, on our 19th wedding anniversary, it is my parents' wedding anniversary also, and we got married on their 45th wedding anniversary. We hoped that it was their 44th, but it was actually their 45th, because we thought it would be really cool to be married on the 4th of the 4th, 04, and it would have been their 44th, but it wasn't. So that didn't quite go according to plan, but it was still pretty cool. And they were pretty happy that we were married on their anniversary. So we haven't decided yet whether or not we'll actually spend our wedding anniversary dinner with them. So I'm going to pop my little bow on. Now, I should have probably used, there is another twine that is a, a grey twine. It's in the Stampin' Up pack, and yeah, and I've got another piece of bling. Yes, Jodie, I'm putting a third piece of bling on, and that's gonna go right in the middle of the bow. So there we go. That is our little bunny card. So that's a reflection technique, really easy technique. Try it with, you can try it left to right, up and down. So what you could do, oh, better stick that bit on the inside. What you could do is you could, like if you have trees, you could use it as, do the reflection technique as trees in the water, or if you have the old beautiful You stamp set with the girls, beautiful on that. Or there's one with cyclists, that looks really great. You can like do it like a reflection in the water. I do love this bunny stamp set, and what I love most about it is the punch, and also that it's a relatively inexpensive bundle, and I love punches, so I anytime that I can get a bundle with a punch, I'm there. All right, so everyone have a really great rest of the week. Thank you so much for putting up with my rambling and winging it, and we shall catch up for some of you for mystery stamping on Saturday. As I said, I will be posting the clues either tomorrow or Thursday, but they will be definitely available by Thursday night Queensland time. I've got 4 options, so I'm trying to narrow it down to which one. Do I do a fancy fold, or do I do a quick easy card? And I will see you on Saturday, and we'll find out. Thanks Jodie, and thanks Glenda, and thanks Lynn for watching as well, and bye for now.